We'll just tape.
Part of the transcript now, moving forward. The public record.
Are the viewers able to see the screen?
No, screen up, yeah. If it's being shared screen through there.
It is.
Maybe, can we shift it more to the top right? So it doesn't cover.
You can actually, so it's just a little bar.
Oops, I didn't click through it. Did I?
No, you did, that's fine.
I'm trying to hide thumbnail.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Anybody in the session? Hi. You can just put your face up position. And then you can
And she muted it, right?
Yeah. And then go ahead and turn it.
Recording
If you
current?
wanna-
Anna can hear us. It's just not, I have this, I mean, I can turn this on too, that way. That, it was already recorded. There's two mics. This just amplifies it through the room.
So I can't see if participants are in. Are you able to see any
We
participants?
don't have any attendees, but I'm watching.
You're with the architecture firm, right?
I'm Jason.
Yeah, Jason. That's what I heard.
Nice to see you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, double check.
Oh,
He's,
Yeah.
he's with us.
Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Welcome.
sir, if you sign in for us over here. I'm probably with you.
We have very fancy technology here.
There you go, perfect.
Hit the arrow, so we'll be good.
Live, there were no participants yet.
Okay.
Would you like the clicker? So the pointer is in the middle, and then these are the arrows. And if you want to go back to the presentation mode, you can do it here. And just there.
I'll just leave it in the mode, just even the slideshow. I'll just.
Oh, I'll leave it just- Feel free to sit up close. Right now, you are our only resident. Okay. We'll go over an introduction shortly. We'll start, we'll try to see if additional members will join via Zoom, and then we'll get started. Anybody else come in first? My name is Caroline. I'm the Assistant Director for Community and Recreation. We'll all introduce ourselves once we get started.
Okay.
We don't bite. That's pretty friendly.
Testing, testing, testing.
I have my volume down to the side, but I can. You want to try again, Brett?
Testing, testing.
It's not super loud.
All right, I'll stay behind the podium. I didn't,
Yeah, I think I'll do that.
I just gonna be hidden by this.
That way.
Testing.
You want to maybe test it just to make sure the regular users are able to get in, no problem? Because Anna's on the
She's a panel,
panel.
yeah. Well, I didn't make any registration requirements, so they.
Then nobody's on.
I mean,
Check-in successfully. Check-in successfully.
Okay, good evening. We are going to get started with our presentation. Just for information's sake, this session will be recorded. We will go through the process of presenting, and that way we can have the recording and we can post it on our website to continue throughout our public input period. So we're here to discuss Firehouse Park, which is on San Ignacio Avenue, and it's the northern side of the property of where the fire station will be. As I said, it's a meeting that will be recorded, and it's an in-person hybrid meeting that allows for virtual attendance on Zoom through the internet. Now, at this point, we have one resident in attendance, and we'll see what happens through Zoom. As I stated, the meeting will be recorded and serve as the meeting minutes to be shared on the city webpage. And we will allow for questions and answers following the presentation, both in person and virtually as well. So a quick history on the project and why we're meeting today. The city had a priority to acquire and build a fourth fire station to enhance access to the southern portion of the city in an effort to reduce response times. In 2018, the city received a matching grant in the amount of $1.5 million from the state for the land acquisition of a combined firehouse and park. In 2020, the city purchased the existing parking lot from the Riviera Presbyterian Church, and the land use of the property was proposed to be changed from religious institution to public buildings and grounds at first reading during this past commission meeting. Now, what's important to note is this presentation and discussion will be focused mainly on the park property. As the Community Recreation Department, that is what we are able to discuss. And as a matter of introduction, my name is Fred Cusero. I am the Community Recreation Director. Here on behalf of the city, we also have Carolina Vester, the Assistant Director of Community Recreation, Mitch Zuriarian, the Administrative Supervisor for the department, and the Administrative Assistant, Sarah Espino, who will be monitoring the Zoom recording and working on that. In addition, we also have from the city, Green Space Management Director, Dina Bell Llewellyn, Eddie Lama from the city, and we also have the Fire Chief, Marco De La Rosa. Anybody? A representative from our architecture firm. Sorry, I didn't. And we also have Anna virtually from the architectural firm as well. So we will be discussing the park. This is a Google satellite view of the area. This is not an exact delineation. It's a general delineation of where the park will be in terms of the property. It's not that large, but it is an approximation of the location of it, which will be up against San Ignacio Avenue. This is the initial concept design that was given for the park, and it was focused mostly on a passive area that just had a picnic table and a couple of benches and a trash can and a mister. But as we look closer, what the city was given, what Community Recreation Department was given was a directive to make sure that the park be activated. So to have an active element into it. So we are presenting a couple of possible options that will be reliant on the space that's allowed to be put within that parcel and what we can do from a safety standpoint. So these are the existing elements that we had in there. There is the fire hydrant is the mister, so it has that fire theme. That is, we also have our bench and our picnic table, which are our standards in our city parks that we use, as well as our trash receptacle and the water fountain. Now, the water fountain also has a bottle filler, which is newer technology for water fountains, and we are starting to use that as a standard in our parks as well. The bronze plaque that is there will be what we use for our dedication wording and plaques to delineate whatever wording we need to have for the city. There might be some grant wording that we need to put in, and in terms of park title, and that might have to be in there as well. And we'll use a bronze plaque that is a standard that we use in all of our cities, our city parks. So we also will have quite a few shrubs, trees, and ground cover. And these are the possibilities. And this is kind of the palette that we're looking at. You know, in terms of the trees, we're looking at live oaks, orange geiger, and shrubs. There's the dwarf firebush. We have the podocarpus, the variegated schefflera. And then we also on the ground cover, we have the Boston fern, liriope, wart fern. So we're looking at a combination of these different landscape plants. And also, one of the things that's important, and I will go quickly back to it to kind of reference what we're showing here in this picture is the geoblock and the grass pave. So within the design, you will see that there is an area that allows for a vehicle to go through the middle of the park, and that will be, it will be sod in terms of appearance, but they will have that geoblock grass pave, which allows vehicles to go over it without damaging the ground and without damaging the grass, and grass is able to grow through it. You can see what the subsurface is on that slide with the grass and how it would go over it. So in terms of the play element, what we were looking at, because of the small scale of the park, we can't do a large, gigantic type of play area. It would be more of a preschool tot lot type spot. This is our preferred playhouse that we would like to do if we're able to fit it within the size scope of that open area that we indicated at the beginning of the presentation. And it's made out of recyclable materials. It has a lot of different features in it for children. There is the firehouse design. It's a fire truck and a firehouse. And some of the features are highlighted. You can see the little Dalmatians, the fire hydrant, the different play areas for children that are fire themed. You can go into the truck. There's a steering wheel and fire panels within the house, and within the truck that are play panels, interactive panels. So this is the one that we're looking at as our option A, if we can fit it within the scope of that property. Has a slide, which we know, along with the climbing, the interactive elements inside the house, and the slide would provide for a nice play value for children to go in such a small space. Now, if we do look at other options that, because we can't fit in terms of safety spacing and bordering, then this is another option. And this is it would be the fire truck spring rider. And there are ways that it seats several children, as you can see on the picture on the top right. And there's also ways to make it a little more decorative and festive. Your surfacing could be similar to the picture that we show here, where it's a combination of the grass look with the street look as well, that give you a more interactive design when you're using it for play. One thing that's important to note is, since it's play equipment, the area will have to have a fencing around it. The fencing will be our standard fencing that we use in our city parks, and it's 48 inches high, and the pickets are no greater than 3.5 inches apart from each other. And that is due to playground safety guidelines that establish certain levels of protrusion guidelines and certain levels of entrapment guidelines. And that's what the fencing is there for, to provide that safety, and also provide a barrier for someone using, for children using the play area to not be able to go into San Ignacio Avenue. So all of the features in Firehouse Park that we're looking at is, we're looking at an ADA picnic table, ADA accessible benches, a trash receptacle, which we showed, all those three we showed in the presentation, the drinking fountain that we discussed with the bottle filler, the fire hydrant mister, which will be push activated. It won't just have mist all the time. It'll have to be activated by someone pushing the button. The firehouse inspired play component, the two that we discussed. There will be a park name sign. The park will be Firehouse Park, and landscaping, which we talked about, the trees, the shrubbery, and the ground cover. Now, it's important to note that this is our plan, but there are some size restraints with the area. So there could be a chance that we're not able to fit all these features, because we need to have proper spacing for ADA regulations, for safety regulations. So we have to make sure that all of it is able to go in there. If not, then there could be a possibility that maybe there isn't a picnic table, maybe there isn't a mister, but what we want to make sure is we get the play component in, we get seating, and then we look at the trash receptacle, and to make sure we have the landscaping in there as well. So that concludes the project. As I said, that's the Firehouse Park, and we will take any questions at this moment in time. If you don't have any questions, that's it. But if you do, yeah, sure.
The play component doesn't look like it can go into this area.
Well,
Maybe that is that.
No,
Requirement, but I mean, this is a very, very small area.
So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, in terms of this area, so the area that has the orange drawing. Oh, laser pointer. Yeah, she's gonna get the poison. So, in order to fit something in this area, obviously the concrete portion would be taken out, and that would have to be part of the play area. So what we would need is, we're looking at Yeah, what we would need is a 25 by 25 area, which will fit in there if this concrete area is no longer there. It's just 25 by 20, 25 feet by 25 feet.
Then I would find useful, I mean, like, get them to preschool, like.
Right.
They have facilities there. Park right around the corner. And I think this, personally, I didn't even like the looks of it. I think it's, if kids go on the top of that, looks like it's open. I don't think it's a safety thing to have, but that's just, it's just a comment.
No,
I
under-
don't see that.
And it's a valid comment. Just so you know, when we do those play areas, there is something called the fall height, which is the highest point that anybody can fall on. So our surfacing has to be certified to be safe for that fall height, to protect from serious injury. And we do that with all of our playgrounds, whether they're big, small. So there's a fall height that we do, and the surfacing there would be similar to some of the parks that we have in our city, would be the artificial grass that's made specifically for playgrounds, that has a big foam underneath subsurface that's for safety attenuation. No, sure.
There's a fenced in area in a park.
Yeah.
A couple hundred feet there, it has.
Right.
I think it was-
Understood.
What is this right here?
This would be the SPNL.
Yes.
They're not gonna have a transformer vault in built. The 1,000 foot.
Well, yes, of course, but we also required from FPNL to have an external, you can't have everything inside the building. You have to come on the outside. Now, it's not quite the size, but obviously, right now, it is a parking lot, so there's nothing there now.
Many years. So
Alex, you have the architect respond on that, if you have a representative from the architectural firm here?
Yeah, that's more in relation to the fire station that's gonna be just to the south of this park site. And we're screening it with the landscape material from view from the park side. So that's gonna be more fire station oriented.
right, I'm sure that's what it's built. You can't put a small transformer vault inside the building and not have a main transformer.
No, FPL requires that it be
You have to ask.
I can't tell you how many transformer vaults I designed. Really, yeah.
Well, that's something we could note to the architect, and they can look at that in terms of how it accesses the building. Right.
Rather than a big green transformer.
Mhm.
I'd like to talk to the people, two architects and fire chief.
Sure.
That's what we're here. for.
Absolutely. You can do that. Is there anyone on?
Good evening, Ana Yegues. I'm on Zoom. It's just hard for me to hear exactly what his questions or comments are.
Okay, the question, the main question was in terms of the transformer. If the transformer has to be external, if it can't be in the building.
I know that FPL had made a site visit, but I believe because of the size, it needs to be on the exterior. And that, I think this is, the location is not final, correct, Eddie? I mean, is this the preferred location, but all of the locations are on the exterior? The building will be fed from underground, and we are intending on buffering as much as we can from the park as well, as Jason explained.
What happens at the adjacent power poles are. And that's where they have.
I couldn't hear.
Eddie, Lamas was responding that the poles, the exterior poles that feed the FPL transformer come from the opposite side of the street by Sunny Mass.
Right.
That is correct. Yes, yes, that is correct. The main transformers feeding this one is off of San Ignacio.
There's a rear easement between the
Mhm.
That's all that feeder, three-phase feeder, goes down the rear easement.
Yeah.
So I think the idea would be to feed that underground to the transfer.
So in terms of the park space, any other comments for the record?
I think the other is gonna look, this is not gonna be used that often. I don't think you can have my kids there.
Okay.
Trying to save you some money.
No, understood.
The only reason, just to explain,
yeah.
and this is what we were explaining, is there was a grant
Yeah,
involved in the
and that's
purchase of
why
the
this is
land
here.
acquisition. Correct. And there was a condition to make sure that we had a park service as part of the fire station. And
A park that's activated, whereas instead of just an open lot, to have an activated park space. So when you have an activated park space, we need to have an active element. Yeah, so,
I'm just saying that
and
it's not anything I think that.
and we liked it, but you know, it's subjective, the look. We just thought it was keeping in the theme, a whimsical type of look instead of your regular metal and plastic. We thought it was something that would be different and decorative and aesthetically pleasing for a small space. You know, you can't put a bunch of climbing bars and all kinds of stuff there. Just there's no space for it. All right. So do we have anything else online?
We have a gentleman joined. I don't know if you want to reiterate that they can make their comments, show he just joined a little late, I think,
Okay.
about the comments and stated it's going to be posted online.
Sure. If you missed any portion of the presentation, we're recording it. We will be placing it online. If you have any commentary after seeing the presentation, we still have an open input period for the end of the month, September 30th. And so you'll have more than enough time to look at it. But as a quick review, since we're here, what we're looking at is this is the park space. And we're looking at on the eastern side to change a little bit of that configuration and add a play element that'll get rid of the concrete, and we'll have to necessitate moving of the benches. And the play elements that we're looking at this is the preferred one if we have the space. If not, the second one is smaller, and it's a spring multi-use vehicle for several children at once. So those are the two main items that we're looking at. So any commentary or any questions, you can go ahead and let us know, or you can let us know online.
Right here,
Yes,
you can visit the website, and this entire Zoom presentation will be recorded and available online.
and there's the email where you can email us for any commentary or more information if anyone needs it. And we'll keep it posted on the website. Any questions from the gentleman? Well, this will officially close the recording, and thank you very much for those attending in person and online.
Good evening, everybody.